because I want it to die. I want it to go away. It seems to be the echoings of just bad information.
Look like you.
Wow, I got freaking nice boobs. Keep that in. Keep it in, Megan. Katie says her boobs never look so flat. Mine are on point. On point. I have been... Dude, I just benched 255 reps yesterday. No problem. Not bragging, obviously. I messaged Katie this morning. I was like, "You want to do a podcast today?" And it's and she was like, "Yeah." What'd you say, like Roger or something?
Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit. And that irritated me. I was irritated with you right off the bat. Katie is my business partner, and it is very healthy to have a annoyance or some healthy amount of hatred for you.
Yeah,
you annoy me all the time,
and
I know.
4 years.
Yeah,
so.
I know. 4 years, I have been annoying her with my incompetence. I'm like, "You have to call this place," and you're like, "Oh God, I hate this guy." But it works. It works. Here we are. Our semi-private training memberships growing. Private memberships growing. It's been a lot of fun. But today, I wanted to focus on the 3 things that have been plaguing our industry or plaguing our consultations, and what we get from clients coming in has been super irritating because I want it to die. I want it to go away. And it seems to be the echoings of, just bad information, right? Yeah. What? How irritated are you of me right now?
No, it's completely irrelevant.
No, tell me what's on your mind.
I can't say it.
Why? Because we're both wearing hats?
No, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about now.
Okay.
You're going to have to cut this out.
No. Now I can't. No, say what it is. You can't say it. You can't do that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. No, we're keeping this in. You're
okay.
Strange, but
no, they're gonna go crazy.
They're gonna go nuts. Be like, what was she thinking about?
Yeah, you can't tell them. They're never gonna know.
All
right.
She's gonna tell me afterwards. It's gonna be insane. So those 3 things that are super irritating, which we get in consultations, and I think by now, I was hoping by now that it wouldn't be here. And the first thing is when we get somebody coming in, it's primarily females that come in. When they say this, they go, "Well, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to get bulky." Now, I understand where that has kind of come from with, fitness magazines, bodybuilding magazines, men's fitness, stuff, and you see these guys with these rippling muscles. Or you then see female bodybuilders or competitors on stage, and you think, she lift weights, I lift weights, I look like that.
Yeah.
No. No. Those people who are on stage and doing those things, that happened on purpose. Like, that was very, very clear.
Also, their day-to-day lives are much different than the average person coming in anyway. So their
much different.
Dedication to, that's literally their sport.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're going to look like that.
Well, because that's the
and
point.
That's their goal.
That's
right.
the point
that's
of
what
the
they're
sport.
Trying to do, exactly.
Yeah. That's a good point. Like, it's like, why would you think you're like, I work out 3 days a week out of training.
They weren't born like jacked baby.
Yeah, they were like, I was born this jacked and this oiled up and this tan, and I'm just going to go work out because now I have that. Now, there's certain genetics to come in play, but there's also performance-enhancing drugs that people are extremely dishonest about, or just not as forthcoming about with training. And it's like the women who you see competing in bodybuilding shows are, if it's, the ones that you're looking at and you're sending me, because I get a lot of female clients sending me stuff like, what is she doing? Like, why does she look like this? Mm-hmm. And it usually has to do with they are extremely strict on nutrition, very, very strict on their nutrition down to the macro.
Yeah. Literally. Like that number. Yeah.
They're doing split trainings. They're usually cardio at night, training in the morning, or vice versa. And we're talking like 6 days a week. Mm-hmm. They're usually bringing up some of those weaker body parts that they have. Like, let's say if they want their hamstrings to pop a little bit more, they're focusing more on those. They're, some of them are, training, arms and leg day, chest day, back day, another back day paired with another chest day, or what, so they're doing pushing, pulling, squatting, lunging, those types of things, but they're really focusing on the development of the muscle. Now, for you coming in 3 days a week just to look good with a little less on, and for you to feel strong in your own skin and capable, and in that 3 or 4 days a week is just fine. And you're not going to look like a female competitive bodybuilder or any of that. It's been extremely annoying when that kind of comes in.
And also, too, if you're just the average person, I don't like to say average, but if you're just the average person coming in.
General wellness. Gen Pop. Yeah.
Got it. If you're Gen Pop.
Yeah.
You can also enjoy your life outside of what you do here as well.
Yeah.
You know, you have double training for these ones that compete, which if that's what you'd like to do, there's nothing wrong with that either.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not sustainable for
like every for Gen Pop
exactly.
or just being like this. I've actually found, because I used to train that way, there's plenty of pictures of me online like that. It's insane. Where it was like, yeah. It was like, dude, I'm just not that type. And I thought I was, I was like, I wanted to, I thought I wanted to compete, and I thought I wanted, to do that. And it was just what I got into. I think every, young man in the late, early 2000s, was like, I'm going to be a bodybuilder, because that's what you were seeing.
I've even thought about going competing.
Yeah.
When I first started training, because
that's that was our entry.
Exactly.
Our entry was like, look at this person on this magazine and this, and maybe this is, not true, but in my observations, I see females when they come in and they talk about training, they think they're going to get bulky off of just looking at a weight. They look at a weight over 15 pounds and they're like, I don't want to lift that, because if I do, my muscle's going to get big and I'm going to look bulky and I'm not going to look good. Yeah, just have traps. Yeah. But, and then men, it's the opposite. They think going to the gym 3-4 times a week and doing a couple of split days is going to turn them into a bodybuilder. And it's just not the case. So in my estimation, in my working with the clients I've worked with, the men that are coming in need to do more, and the women, coming in and need to know, it's like, you have to do what you thought you needed to do. They're like usually spot on. They're like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week. You're like, yeah, you're right. Now, if you're a person that just wants to feel good and kind of go with that type of 80-20 that we teach, like 80% of the time you're on it, 20% you're off of it, that's the lifestyle that Katie was talking about. It's like, you can go to the gym 3-4 times a week and get everything that you need, including cardiovascular and cardiorespiratory work, and do just fine. Whether that be that you're doing slow, steady state cardio, you're doing stuff for more like glycogenic work and kind of burning through that, sprints, walking, circuits, whatever it is, you can still do that too. But I just want to end this one and go, lifting weights does not make you bulky. Bulking, and training like a bodybuilder to prep for a show will make you look that way. And it's because that's what they're doing on purpose. The second thing that has been irritating, extremely irritating, is almost the inverse of that, like the cardio, like the cardio warriors we've been getting. So I train three. I had 4 marathon runners, 5 if you want to count her husband that was there too. And I say this, if you are training for a marathon, or let's just kind of get off that really quickly and go, the cardio people coming in, all they did was cardio. All they're doing is cardio, and they don't lift any weights. So what you have is, you have that your body is there for, and those muscles, your lungs, your ligaments, your tendons are like, they still need to be strengthened under stimulus. So when we get somebody that comes in where it's just cardio, the first time they touch a pair of weights, they are like very humbled. They're like, whoa, this is extremely difficult.
I've seen a couple people catch on fire.
Yeah. If they touch the weight, they actually caught on fire, they melted. No, because we've had a lot of people coming in for the semi-privates, because we do semi-privates a little bit differently. Katie's a semi-private coordinator. So I know what people want. I know what, or people wanted, was, you and I had talked about jumping around in class and like doing war ropes and ball slams and burpees and jump roping, and it's
more like working out versus training.
Yeah.
So we're still training, even though it's cardiovascular versus strength training. We're still training them.
Yeah. And although those places are great, I just see that slowly starting to die.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's still kind of around where people think that's strength training. That is not strength training. So what you're doing is you're creating, cardiovascular, cardiorespiratory stimulus, with that. But you're not getting stronger by definition because you're not actually focusing on the definition of strength training. Which
if you're just jumping around and doing like those battle ropes, like you said too, there's no way to really gauge. Sure, it might be fun if you enjoy that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want a good workout, sick. But there's no way to actually gauge how your cardiovascular is doing as well.
Yeah, it's a poor judge in how that's gauging. But what the problem is that there's coaches pushing that as strength training, and that's not strength training.
Correct.
So strength training is resistance training. You're using weights, barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, machines. I don't care how you do it. Applying overloading, principles, focusing on, strength training, hypertrophy training, those types of things. And that person, we have logs for our semi-privates should be tracking, and they can see, hey, last week I was incline bench pressing the 25s for a set of 6, and then this week I got the 30s for a set of 6, and it was great. I feel, and then so on and so forth. So we have those rep ranges and those challenges for that reason. But what I see with people coming in from cardiovascular classes, usually large scale gyms or even small, mom pop places, because that's a real popular way to just kind of get people in and just have them move around. And it's a low level of entry, so anybody can kind of come in and just do that, and you're gonna feel good afterwards. Usually, we get that now too, and we've had Nikki. She came in. One of our clients came in, and she was a cardio warrior, and she says that pretty openly, so that's why I felt confident saying her name. And now, here she is, just kind of like, hey, I can do my cardio, and now I'm adding in that strength training, and I see her just changing, and it's a great way to do it. I also train right now. I have 2 people interested in marathons, half marathons, and both of them have broken their mile time, 3 mile time, 5 mile time, and overall half marathon time with just focusing on strength training. Chris, did such a great job. One of my clients has done such a great job. She was a cardio queen, like cardio warrior. Likes to do full marathons, half marathons, and we have been strength training for almost a year now. And
really, it's been that long.
It's been a year. Yeah, almost a year. It's like I think it's like 11 months actually.
Okay.
And so she has been doing such a good job with really just focusing on showing up 2-3 times a week, making sure she hits, different squat variations, lunge variations, ways, even upper body too. Like I hate this thing. Like you guys just run marathons. You're like, oh, don't train your upper body. It's like, no, train your upper body too.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, it doesn't feel as good. It's like, yeah, I know, because you just want to go out and run and just go, I run, endure, and suffer, which is great. But now she's has this massive improvement. I think she shaved off quite a bit of time, and that feels good. To be able to look at somebody, be like, hey, I told you, like the antidote for what you were doing isn't always such an obvious answer.
Right.
It's like, hey, just run more.
But also, again, measurable.
Yeah, it's extremely measurable.
You shave down your time because
Yes.
XYZ.
Yes, you added this degrees of stimulus, and this is why it changed.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So having that one's gotta die. I just gotta find a spot to bury it. I hate it. And I'm actually when we went to Compound Performance, Kyle Dobbs is amazing, a phenomenal coach. Matt is a phenomenal coach too. Just he's been my powerlifting coach for about 3 months now. I know how irritated he is with me, but he's a great coach, and he has gotten me stronger because I'm focusing on a program where we say number go up. With powerlifting, it's like, I want my number to go up. This is how we're going to do it. There's other ways to do it. But that program was really good on focusing on the training and going, hey, if you have somebody coming in and you're just doing foam rolling and all this like activation work and you're not getting to work, what are you doing? What are you doing with these people?
Falling asleep.
Yeah, you're pretty much falling asleep. And you have these clients come in, and we were doing this too. I mean, we were guilty of it as well. It's like foam roll, open up all these tissues and then find something that relates to the movement that they're doing and then have them do it. Now, that's great. It does work, but is it optimal? I don't think so. And that's why we've changed again. We've changed even more. You put somebody 3 minutes on that Aerodyne bike before they come in to warm up, they're pretty much warmed up. And you'll see that when they go do things. Now,
they hate it every time.
They hate it every time, but it works. Now, if you also go, hey, what's a good way to warm up for a squat? You have them squat. That's a great way. Now, if there is a pattern in there that needs to be corrected, like you need some sort of corrective pattern, then you could take that.
Right.
Like, hey, you got to foam roll your adductor, or hey, you got to cue this up with a band, so then that way you can actually have that right side not fall apart.
Your
ankle mobility, whatever it is, right? But I liked that approach because I think we've gotten into too many of these functional. We can get into that. That'll be our number 3. Screw it. We're going to push this. This is going to be 4. So the number 3 is I am so tired of all these functional pattern movement therapist, strength, whatever. They have a title like this long. It's like, dude, get over yourself. Get over yourself.
Corrective functional.
Yeah, corrective functional, mobile, backflipping. And it's like, dude, you can cue up as much as you want. You could tell them to do as much tib raises as possible and all this stuff. It's not going to change if they're max effort squat type of stuff. I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's like focus on the basics. Yeah. A lot of those basics are going to be where most of those things come from. And that's why that person did.
Especially if we have the clients that we have that are like ready to work.
Yeah.
They're going to be like,
what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah, why are we doing?
It's been a half hour of this shit.
Yeah, and we're still on the ground foam rolling.
Yeah.
And now for some athletes where you have to cover your ass, and there's a lot of like high level coaches that have you go through like freaking 8 different things before you even get to a lunge or whatever it is. I think a lot of it is just really covering their ass and just trying to see the readiness of the athlete, which I get, but call it what it is. Don't sit there and say everybody should go through this because that's insane.
Right, and not everybody's an athlete
by
definition.
True. Yeah, most people aren't athletes. Right. I'm not an athlete. But, so yeah, I'm sorry. That was a surprise 3, but that was really irritating me too because we get that a lot. And yes, you need to focus on areas and where your client needs to improve or work on their mobility or stability or strength train or stretch, you have that. But I think right now you just have these like foam rolling, you have to have all this range of motion in all these, like you have to be able to put your arm behind your back, curl forward. You should walk on the ground like an ape. You should do this, but you've seen them. You've seen them. And
take
it's
your leg your nose
you have to. You have to put the kettlebell hanging on your toe and then go around. It's like, you don't have to do these things. And you see it because their systems are still failing. If you have any questions, and you're one of those types and it'll explode your mind, read Charles Poliquin's book, The Strength Sensei. Like, just go read most of Charles Poliquin's work. When I discovered Charles, I was like, and I followed him for years. He passed away, but I had followed him for years. And I carried 2 of his books around like it was the Bible, And Jim Stepani's this Strength Endurance too.
Door to door.
Yeah, I'm like, have you heard about Charles Poliquin?
It's awesome.
But it's like it'll explode their mind because these are like the real principles and like real trainings on how you would actually get somebody stronger,
right.
which is the goal. And we could talk about corrective, and you can do those, and he does base it on those things. But a lot of it is like, hey man, like weak things break. If you're weak in those areas, break. You could foam roll it all you want. It's not going to help. Sorry, that went out of fun.
Oh, that's okay.
It's extremely irritating for me, apparently. Yeah.
Glad we're able to get that out.
I feel better already.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bless you. Yeah, bless you.
Also with you.
Bless you, and also with you. Let us pray.
I'm finding more, maybe not so much now, but like clients, not even ours, just generally speaking, they'll find what they like to do and then only do that. So like whether they like to run, they don't want to do the hard stuff. Like I want to get stronger, but I really like running, so I'm just gonna not get stronger and I'm gonna run. And I'm only bringing up running because you said that earlier.
But it's also the same thing with
if I really like being flexible, I'm gonna do yoga and just fuck everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And what I found is as of lately, and this is where I was going with compound performance. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
It's okay. Here to bring it back.
It was like we talked a lot about, hey, strength athletes, it's like, yes, what do they want to do? Strength train. Most of them want to power lift, strength train, do that. What should they be doing? A lot of that. And people go, more powerlifting, more strength training. Maybe. Or, hey, focus a little bit that you're just out of shape. Your heart is out of shape. Your lungs are out of shape. It's like, do some sprint work.
End on that
do some work on there 2 days a week. And you could recover very fast and get back to your lifting program because
and not get winded when you go up the stairs.
Yeah, and the neurological damage on that, I'm doing sprints or doing, even some slow, steady work is so low that you can get to training the next day. And I mean, that's what I learned from, not from compound, but the system that's been put on me has been extremely helpful. And maybe you're not bad at doing cardio. You're just out of shape. Like, just call it what it is. Like, you're not bad at doing cardio. You just haven't done it and you're out of shape.
Which means you should keep doing it.
Which means you should keep doing it because your numbers will improve, and my numbers have improved.
Right.
And
which also helps you in the training room as well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. The numbers improve. Yeah. And I think it's one of the longest scaled study. There's a big study going on about, does weight training helping long distance and cardiovascular work helping weight training. Like, and it's going to be obvious. I'm sorry. It's going to be like, yes, it's, and I hate to say that, because then, if somebody's like, well, the evidence isn't, they couldn't replicate it. It was kind of like replicating about, when they're like, exercise has been said to help with depression. And it's like, no shit. No shit. We didn't need a study to tell us that. I've been saying that for 10 years, and I remember having clients. Oh my God, this one's fun.
Uh-oh, we got a
I remember having a client. She's like, well, you also should go to a therapist, and you need to make sure you do that because, like, I understand how you feel about that. It's helping you with depression, but you really need to make sure you go to a therapist. It's like, that's not true.
Yeah.
Sometimes not all of us need to sit there and ruminate and talk to a therapist about our problems. Sometimes the best way is like, hey, I got to get after it. Yeah. I really have to start challenging my mind. I'm not challenged enough. That's why I'm depressed.
Right.
I'm sitting here on a couch not doing anything.
I'm not to a stranger.
Yeah, and I'm not doing anything.
Which, disclosure, I go to therapy.
I do, and so have I. And so therapy has helped me.
For sure.
So it's I'm not sitting here saying not to go. Right. I'm sitting there going, there's other ways and things that can actually help you, like running, like going to yoga, like being physical.
Outside.
Yeah, getting outside, going for a walk. So we didn't need a study telling us that. That's a really like odd thing.
It's kind of like those commercials for like medications. Like, do you have depression?
yeah. It's like,
you're feeling sad.
Yeah.
Like, well, fuck. I guess I do.
You're like, oh my God, I am. I am sad.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, have you not gotten off the couch in 7 days? You're like, yeah, I haven't.
How do they know?
But the commercials are always like, them going outside, and it's like the light. Yeah. And they're like smiling all of a sudden. It's like, just go outside.
That's it.
Go outside.
Yeah,
yes.
Turn that off.
I mean, take this antidepressant, fine, but it's like, just go outside. The thing is with those is like, we know that it's going to be beneficial, that doing cardio is going to help you with weight training and vice versa. And it's just because it's like, no shit. And you said it too. It's like the clients or people that we have coming in, they like doing what they like doing. Like, if you have a client that likes to squat, they're going to want to squat all the time. They don't want to do upper body.
Not to cut you off, but once they understand what we are actually telling them to be true, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I feel so much better.
Well, it's like getting strong is getting strong. Yeah. And if you tell them like, hey, you should be working on kind of all of these areas, and maybe some of them you double down on if you wanted to, which is, very, very helpful. The last thing I think is more of the complex thing. So it would be the fourth thing now, because it was supposed to be 3, now it's 4. I think it's just because you pulled a weight or you did something, this is for a lot of our strength, our clients that focus on, I don't want to say powerlifting, but powerlifting, getting stronger. And just because you lifted a weight last week doesn't mean you're going to be able to lift it again this week.
Right.
You know,
tell them why, Ben.
Oh, well, your neuromuscular system gets overloaded. No, we can go into why, but it's more important if we try to resonate with the majority of the people that are going to be listening to this. And most of it is not going to be a coach, looking, for, that type of answer. Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen is when you overload and you lift, let's say the other day, I lifted 415 pounds and I did that 4 times. Now, if I tried to do that, even if I gave myself like this stereotypical 3 to 4 days, I am not going to be able to make that budge. And the reason why is not because my muscles are too taxed, not because the muscle, is loaded. It's your neuromuscular system. The damage that you do when you do these big lifts, most of which is trying to get your neuromuscular system to fire properly through that lift. And after you do that, it's going to take, I think it's like 9 to 14 days, to really fully recover from those things. Now, as you get older, there's more variables that come into play with lifting just because your lifestyle changes. You have kids, you have a business, you have 2 jobs, you didn't sleep enough, this didn't happen. Those are all will affect it too. But if you're going on just because you squatted, 360 pounds on Friday, doesn't mean you're going to be able to do it again on Monday or Tuesday. And it doesn't mean you're going to be able to do it that following Friday either, because you could have peaked last week. You could have you also could have overworked it, overloaded it, and it might need more time. So it's important to know that, where you're at, condition-wise, peak-wise, and understand that. Me personally, we had found I every 3 weeks, it's every 3 weeks, and then you could say, we had decided I didn't need a deload, which is why we program deloads into people's programs, which a deload is a reduction in weight or a reduction in whatever large movement they were doing, deadlift, bench, squat, clean, press, whatever it is, but mainly the 3 big ones, we'll do a deload. And why? I mean, because you're going to put that person's central nervous system through hell and they've already kind of beat up. You're not going to get good on that return. So putting in a reduction of, 30%, 50%, whatever, and just have them or do a movement similar to that movement. So let's say that you had their deadlift and you did want to do a deload. I've even seen people go all the way down to 20% of what they're doing. So they're just doing the movement, mm-hmm. but they're not going to create as much neuromuscular damage. So they give themselves that, gives them more time to recover. That movement is refamiliarized, still in their neuromuscular system, but not damaged. Then the next week they go, shit, I feel pretty good. It's nice. Not everybody gets a deload week because I think it's a over-programmed thing. Some people, it's just dude, you had a bad week last week. That's all it was. There's too many variables, and those variables are sleep, which is the big one. It's sleep, rest, recovery. Did you drink alcohol? That's a big, I ask that all the time. Hey, you have more than 3 or 4 alcoholic beverages, which is also seen in reduction of sleep. Mm-hmm. But also it's you're dehydrated, it's all getting filtered through your liver, and there's a lot going on there the next day. It's kind of you could do that when you're younger and you're I could do it. You're doing all this stuff. And then as you get older, you're no, I feel like dog shit right now. I cannot do it. And that's when you notice the difference in performance. Then you also go into, of course, your food, what you ate. That's obviously a big one. And that gets into, the carbohydrates, type of thing, where carbohydrates are used, to make sure you get a good hit of glucose when you're training, and those people who are cutting carbs out massively or doing that, you're going to see a decrease in performance. You just are. And those people,
and energy levels,
and energy,
in general,
and performance, and energy,
day,
yeah, and that's what hangry comes from.
Yeah,
it's like you're drastically cutting your calories down, and if you're trying to perform or lift heavy weights or get your numbers to go up, you need to make sure your nutrition's a little bit more on point, and you're not just cutting everything down and just expecting to lift heavy weights while still being 5% body fat or whatever. And then of course you have your readiness for the day, and that's like, what happened? Your girlfriend break up with you? That could either fuel you or really hurt you.
That's true. Yeah.
Did you not get enough sleep? Are you stressed out about money? Are you stressed out about the day? Did something bad happen?
Cat meow in your face at 3 a.m.
Yeah. Wake you up earlier. I mean,
happens to me.
But it's like, but that's rest recovery. But it's like sleep. But it's like stress.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this stressor. Like, how's your cortisol levels? Are they through the freaking roof? Have you been worried about everything? You've been trying to buy a house for 1.5 years and you can't find one. That's me. Yeah. So you have those things. So you need to know, or you need to have a coach, or you need to have somebody there to let you know that. And that's what I find a lot where we get people coming in. They're strong until they're not. Mm-hmm. And then they go, I can't figure out how to get this number to go up or this to happen. And that's when they hire coaches, like us, which is great. But I want to let the people know who are not going to go to a coach or not going to do those things. It's like, dude, like that number's not just going to jump up. It's going to take, you have to be very strategic with it, and you're not going to be your strongest all the time. It's a game of thirds. It's like a third of the time you're going to be like, I'm the strongest fucking human being on the planet. You're like, yes, you're going to go in there and you're going to rock it. Mm-hmm. Then another third of the time you're like, I'm the weakest human being on the planet.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
You're not going to rock it.
And you're not going to rock it, and you're going to hate it. And then the last third is going to be like, it was okay. Mm-hmm. I did all right, I guess. It's going to be more like
emotions.
that. Yeah, you're just going to have to accept that. But we get clients that come in and they're like, last week I did, I squatted like 275, or they pulled whatever. And then they come in and they're like, oh, geez, this is so heavy today. And you're like, yeah, dude, like you probably peaked last week. Or, it's like, what's going on today?
Right.
Like, you told me today that you didn't sleep, and the other day you didn't sleep. It's like, what did you expect on, 4 hours of sleep the night before and 6 hours of sleep tonight? It's like, that's not going to help you, So there's different variables. I had to get that off my chest, all of those things. I feel much better now.
I'm so glad you feel
better.
better.
I feel like this was like a confession.
Yeah.
A trainer confession.
I like it.
Yeah, this is a coach.
We should do more of these.
We should do more trainer confessions. I think it would keep me like less angry on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you angry on the floor?
No, I seem pretty cheerful. I'm pretty good. I pack it deep inside and I never talk about it again. That's the way men do it, baby. Woo! It is true. Yeah, we just never talk about it. You're like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine. And I'm just miserable inside.
I'm great.
No, I would tell you.
You tell me.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. So I think, like, is there anything on your chest? I mean, I said my 4.
Well, apparently I don't have
one. That's called full circle. Yeah. She doesn't have a chest. No.
It's a sports bra, I swear. No, I think we covered just about everything.
We covered it. You have nothing that irritates you right now.
No, I'm having a really good morning.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about life. Like, this is like,
life is
it's
good.
been a miserable 15 years with the same complaints people coming in for.
That's true. Yeah.
No, it's been great. It's the 4 things that have been super just irritating to me with coaching, training, and I'm glad to get those off my chest. If you want to work with coaches that don't have that type of misery, that wouldn't put you through some of those things and give you the proper information, please sign up here at Sculpt Fitness, baby. Megan probably could have put like something cool in there, and we ruined it.
That was a signal. That was a hint.
Yeah. So we have too. I don't know if you saw this. I have been researching for online trainings as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have these 2 pillars here that we've been working on. Our personal training is insane. We do a ton of personal trainings. Anytime we go to seminars, people are always so shocked at how many personal trainings we do. And then our semi-private training is growing. I think we're at like 2 to 3% each month. So we're adding 1, 2 members, 2 members, 1 members, 3 members, and it's been really great. And the online side is the side that we're going to tackle next, and that'll be good for our entire team. So get ready for that. That's going to be huge. We are out of here. I need to go. I have a training. I have a man sweating in the sauna right now as we speak. And I will see you all next time. Yeah, you. Yes, you
right.
do. All right.
All right.
Bye.
That note.
Bye.